It's just an accumulation of stuff, man. It's been the same thing, the same fights, the same arguments. And a woman can only take crying about the same thing so many times before we're just like, yo, okay, done. Tired of that. And I never understand. To me, I'm constantly being like, you can point out what I need to better in myself. I want to better myself. I want to be the best mom I can possibly be for these kids. I don't even care if the kids call me out and I'm being like, I didn't appreciate it when you did this. Tell me, because that's how you work on stuff. But if I continually tell you, this is what we have to do to work on it, and this is what's going to make the family better, to me, it's like you're not choosing the family if you're going to just keep doing the same things.
Let's start with what really matters. Stephanie Jenkins told the world she was finally done with Drew. She went live and laid it all out. She said she hit her breaking point. She said she had enough, that the relationship was no longer healthy, and most importantly, she said it was hurting her kids. But just hours later, she's back online, this time sitting next to Drew, talking things out, smiling in front of the camera. So what's really going on here? Is this a real breakup or just another live-streamed roller coaster for clicks and sympathy cash? Let's break it all down. Stephanie started her YouTube live looking completely drained. She wasn't sugarcoating anything. She said she was done with the back and forth, that the relationship with Drew had too many highs and lows, and most of all, it was hurting their kids. Living in a cramped motel room with 5 children, trying to stay afloat while dealing with emotional stress had finally taken its toll on her. Then, she said something that made everyone pause. Stephanie and Drew watching inappropriate videos or flirting online made her feel betrayed. To her, it was the same as cheating. Even if Drew didn't see it that way, it brought back painful memories. She explained that she had anxiety and major trust issues because of what her ex had put her through. And now, those same feelings were resurfacing.
I'm tired. I'm so tired. It's hard, and it's like, is it fucking worth it anymore? You know, because, I don't know, you reach this point in relationships sometimes where y'all keep fighting about the same things, and you gotta wonder, like, okay, are we ever gonna be able to heal and fix these things? Or even if when our life is a little bit better, are these things still gonna challenge us and bring us back down to where our success is really never as great as it could be, because there's always gonna be this between us now. You feel me? It's not even like we're like fighting. It's just that I have a lot of anxiety. I dealt with anxiety for a long time prior to when we got together, and I told him I have a lot of trust issues too because of some of the crap my ex put me through. I don't do well when guys watch porn. Okay, I just don't. I consider that stuff cheating. I consider talking to like online women that you like, maybe you ain't got no intentions with them, but you're just flirting and doing all that. I consider that cheating. Okay, and he's already put me through that stuff. So yeah, I get anxious and I have anxiety when sometimes he'd be out DoorDashing or whatever, and it's like an hour or two since he's responded to me. But I don't even like go at him like that. I never like continually call his phone, or like I may send a couple text messages, but I wait. You feel me?
She gave more examples of what was bothering her, like when Drew goes out to DoorDash and doesn't respond to her messages for hours. And when he finally comes back, he scolds her for not picking up his calls, even though she had a reason. One morning, she was trying to stay quiet so her kids could sleep. She picked up a book to read, just to have some peace. But Drew walked in loud, upset she hadn't answered his call. And that small moment spiraled into a full argument. She explained how hard it is to even have a simple morning routine in a one-room motel. If she so much as drops something or sneezes too loud, it could wake all the kids. So she tries her best to keep everything calm. That day, 2 of the kids were awake, but she was still trying to be quiet for the others. But Drew's behavior ruined it. She said it felt like she couldn't even have a moment to herself without someone dragging her back into chaos. It was clear from her tone, her face, and words. Stephanie had hit a wall.
But today, he's like, okay, I gotta switch up my route or whatever. I'm gonna call her and let her know because he doesn't want to give me more anxiety that he's switching up his route. Which I don't even understand why he thinks I was gonna come at him in the first place. But instead of like understanding that my phone's being used. He calls me back to back of like 8, 9 times, and then comes home all upset with me, like, why aren't you answering your phone? I was trying to let you know that my route was changing so you didn't get anxious. And I'm like, you don't think this is gonna make me anxious too? Coming at me like this? Like, I'm just here trying to start my morning correct. Just start my morning reading a book, because I don't ever freaking get a chance to just, especially in the motel, every time I fucking sneeze incorrect, the kids are awake. Like, I cannot get up in the morning early enough or do anything that doesn't wake up the kids. So there's no like starting my morning for myself. The most I could do this morning was 2 of my kids were already up, and I was like, I'm gonna start reading a book, maybe try to take a shower before the rest of them are up. Meanwhile, energy just gets thrown off of me, and I'm just completely freaking thrown. And I don't know, man. Can you get off my freaking shit with that? Please. I'm so tired of that. There's nobody, he's not trying to be freed from anybody. Okay? He's one of the only reasons I still put up with you, Scrap.
She talks about Deson and fires back. People in the chat brought up Deson, and that was the moment Stephanie completely snapped. You could see it in her face, hear it in her voice. She was furious. She fired back at the chat, telling viewers to stop with the narrative that Deson was trying to get freed from her and Drew. That was not the case, she said. In fact, she claimed Deson was one of the few reasons she hadn't already left the relationship. She looked directly at the camera and said that if she left, she was scared about what kind of father Drew would be without her there to guide him. Her exact words painted the picture. She stays because of Deson.
Okay? He's one of the only reasons I still put up with you, Scrap. It's because I low-key wonder what kind of parenting that child's gonna end up with without me in the freaking picture. Mind you, someone was absent for so long until social media was an interest in the matter. How does that show real concern, real love for the child in the first place? I was here by choice. I've done everything for the kid by choice. I've been here. I've made sure he gets to the doctor. I take care of communication with the teachers. I've done said all this crap. So it isn't me who needs to keep seeing all these freaking comments. I love that kid with my whole soul. And like I said, he's one of the only reasons I put up with shit as long as I have.
Then the conversation turned sharp and personal. She dragged Desiree, Deson's biological mother, into the spotlight, and Stephanie didn't hold back even a little. According to Stephanie, Desiree only became interested in Deson again once social media got involved. Once people started asking questions and paying attention, that's when she showed up. Before that, Stephanie says Desiree was missing in action. And in Stephanie's eyes, the absence meant something. She listed all the things she had done for Deson, from taking him to the doctor to speaking with his teachers and doing the day-to-day parenting duties that she believes no one else was doing. She positioned herself as the one constant in Deson's life, the one who's never left, and the one who's given him the real, everyday love a child needs. What hurt her the most, she said, was the criticism. Stephanie said it felt like people online were attacking her non-stop while she was doing everything she could to keep things together. She made it clear she loves Deson with everything in her, not just a little, with her whole soul. And yet, despite all of that, she's being called out as the villain. She said the hate comments, the endless judgment, and the pressure from the outside world and inside her home had all pushed her to a place where she felt like she couldn't take it anymore. Stephanie said she was tired, deeply tired, not just from lack of sleep or stress, but emotionally drained from carrying so much on her shoulders. And the worst part, she felt like no one could see it. No one really understood what she was holding together behind the scenes.
Talks all the crap about me when I've been here. I'm not listening to all of your small-minded opinions. Anybody who hasn't been supportive through this and hasn't just had an understanding, like, I could care less. You think I need that energy right now? You really think I do? Get out of here with it. I'm here to talk to the girlfriends that are here like, girl, we got you. We see you. And we're going to still be there for you when you figure it out. Like, because that's how I am as a friend. That's how I would be. She's hurt, isn't she?
In that moment, she didn't just seem angry. She seemed broken. And whether or not she agreed with her, it was clear she felt like the world was against her. Stephanie tried to paint herself as a strong mom. She proudly said Her kids were raised with tough skin, that they knew how to handle pressure, and that she made sure that they had a voice in their own home. She said she doesn't rule over them or force them to stay quiet, and that she tries her best to let them speak up. But here's the thing. Even as she claims she doesn't drag her kids into adult problems, that was exactly what was happening in real time. During her rant, she complained about how Drew couldn't even take the initiative to bring their daughter to the store for something as simple as donuts. She said that moment stuck with her because it was just another example of how she's always had to pick up the pieces. She said she was the only one stepping in for her kids, making things work, being the glue. Then she brought up a missing jumper she had ordered for her daughter, saying it never arrived. She used that example to highlight how even the small things felt like heavy burdens lately.
Disappointment. Yo, we up in this motel, homeless, and you can't just take your daughter to the freaking store to get some donuts when you told her you were gonna do it? Yeah, I let her know, like, girl, you really don't think that we're just... I'm gonna take you, baby girl. I got your back. If you have an issue with how I just laid facts out to my daughter of like, hey, we got this. Okay, cool. Raise your pillow soft, children. My kids are being raised with some tough skin. Right. I don't jive with it. Like, and I don't appreciate the, you're a kid, I'm parent, you do as I say, you have no opinion. Like, I don't like that kind of vibe of parenting at all. My kids have a voice. They can speak up. That's why she knows to come up and ask me in the first place if she's still going to go get donuts. And if I was worried about Jill's opinions, I wouldn't have talked to her like that. I didn't do nothing wrong. Big petty energy is definitely...
Things were piling up. It was frustration on top of exhaustion. She said she was just trying to be transparent. She wanted people to see the full picture, not just the one people like to paint of her online. Stephanie even talked about her sister, saying she wished her sister could leave her own toxic relationship and come join her. She hinted that they could both heal together, but she knew that wasn't going to happen. She admitted that if she could choose to walk away from Drew, she'd be completely alone. She said she couldn't run to her mom for help, and she didn't have a backup plan. She made it very clear there was no one in her corner, no support system, no family to catch her if she fell. And then she gave a line that made the audience pause. She said she wasn't in a DV situation, and when she wants to leave, she's gone. That sounds brave, but even she followed it up by saying she didn't know what she was holding to anymore. It was like she was speaking out loud to figure it out herself. She was holding on. But to what exactly? That's the part she couldn't answer. And maybe, deep down, that's what scared her the most. Later, Stephanie went live again on TikTok. This time, even more vulnerable than before. Her voice trembled as she explained how she couldn't stop listening to Miley Cyrus' Flowers. She said the lyrics really spoke. It was a breakup anthem about reclaiming power, and Stephanie saw herself in that message. She told viewers not to throw out "I told you so" comments, because in her words, she was mentally getting herself ready for this moment for a long time.
Dude, by now, if you didn't, but people like to talk, and I'm sure they've already made their videos since it's been, I don't know, two hours since I put it up or whatever. Currently, I just keep playing that Flowers song with Miley Cyrus in my head over and over, yo, because I could really do it all by myself. I really could. No, but what you want, girl? You want the keys? Go for it. 1 second, let me grab them for you. And I could give a freak what you trolls have to say with your opinions of, we said so, when we called it, and all this. You could have done better months ago. You think I wasn't prepared for that? That's part of, like, the mental preparation going into this, was that, like, I could open up, or I could just keep it to myself and go through this silently. But I've got a bigger backbone than y'all give me credit for, so I'm not too worried about your opinions on the matter. I'm really not. I'm more worried about what's next. What is next? Because I have 4 kids to think about in this situation. 5, because I don't know what it means for the 5th one when I'm out the picture. But the 4 that are came out my body are the ones I need to worry about in this situation.
Then she opened up further. She admitted she didn't know what was next. She said she felt completely lost. No car, just a couple of thousands to her name. She'd already paid the motel bill until Friday. But after that, things were uncertain. She hadn't eaten all day. Her voice cracked as she said she needed to make milk for the baby, but she couldn't even pull herself together enough to do it. Stephanie said she cried a lot that day, not just tears over Drew, but tears of feeling stuck, emotionally, financially, mentally. It was like the walls were closing in. She said she had no one to run to. She couldn't call her sister because they barely talk anymore. And her mom, that was out of the question. She said they don't speak. And even if they did, she wouldn't turn to her mom for support. She brought up the idea of going to her dream city, a place she always wanted to start off. But then she quickly walked that thought back, saying she'd feel selfish because she didn't want to uproot her kids. Every thought about escape led back to her kids. What would happen to them? Could she take care of all of them on her own? Even though she swore she wasn't in a DV situation, she confessed to feeling completely trapped. Not by bruises, but by fear, by pressure, by the weight of everything. Her words painted a picture of someone who wanted freedom, but didn't know how to grab it without hurting the ones she loved the most. She looked in the camera, holding back her tears, and said plainly, if she left, she would have no one, no family, no support system, just her, the kids, and God. Joined live with Drew. Then came the twist. Stephanie and Drew went live together on TikTok, just hours after Stephanie's emotional breakdown. Here they were again, side by side, smiling awkwardly and trying to work things out in front of a live audience. Thousands of people tuned in to watch what felt less like healing and more like a performance. Stephanie repeated how they had good times as a family. She talked about their trips, shared memories, and moments that made her want to hold on. Drew, in response, said he wanted to step up and be more supportive, claiming he understood now how much Stephanie had been carrying.
Babies, they do have an opinion on this too. And they want to see us work through this. They want our family. We have had a lot of good times as a family. We've been camping, beach trips, Christmases, birthdays, all these things that I feel like if we weren't a blended family, like if we, I don't know, families still start up the same way, so it doesn't really make sense to my mind. But because we didn't have all of our kids together, we shouldn't continue to try to make it work. That's what I feel I don't agree with. If you really feel like I would like it if you'd say a little more, because...
What would you like me to get on about more? I don't...
I don't want to be put on the spot here.
I know,
I was packing shit up and packing crap out and leaving. And you said we could come up on here and like...
I know, that's why I'm here. That's what I said. I'm here, but I'm not... I'm trying to be as most vocal as possible.
I never should have not had the support back before it turned into court matters when your exes popped up. Like, I wish you would have said something then, because now we have almost like, oh, we can't speak, we can't clear the air on stuff that has not shit to do with me. And I don't appreciate it. And that's another thing that makes me want to just pack up and go. And I don't know what you got to say about it.
About me supporting you more?
Yeah.
I told you already. Inside. With Addie.
Right, so then say it.
Then I'm going to work on being more supportive.
But Stephanie wasn't letting things slide that easily. She brought up his silence when his exes had resurfaced online. That silence, she said, made her feel betrayed. Like he wasn't standing up for her or protecting their relationship. Then came the part that made people deeply uncomfortable. Their daughter, Addie, was also involved in their conversations. Stephanie mentioned that Addie had actually been part of a private talk between her and Drew earlier. In fact, it sounded like their young daughter was being used as a sounding board, or worse, as a referee in their arguments. Why in the world was a child being put in that position? Stephanie admitted it plainly. They had been dragging Addie into their issues. They were having grown-up conversations with her, letting her witness the fights, letting her weigh in. Addie wasn't just overhearing drama. She was being placed at the center of it. That's not just messy, it's damaging. Children should never be made to carry that kind of emotional weight. No child should ever be responsible for helping their parents work through toxic relationship issues, let alone be the judge of what happens next. But Stephanie and Drew seemed to be making her play that role, and they were doing it all live in front of strangers.
So it's not like we just have this terrible relationship, nothing but horrible. No, we wouldn't be sitting here trying to figure it out, which I'm sure some married couples go through too, if we didn't have stuff to work towards with each other. Sorry, this airplane's left and right. I'm definitely calling him out and trying to make some changes, not just sitting around letting crap happen. I think that's not for me to decide. If he wants to speak, he can.
But what? I'm looking at it.
They're just saying you're being extra quiet. You don't care about the situation. You don't care. It's just going to be the same type of situation.
Oh, you can tell my process if you want. I don't trust that.
It's because every time we argue, he just mentally shuts down. Gets super fucking depressed. Oh, I said it. Super depressed. And it's hard to talk to him at all. I feel like I do need to give credit for the fact that he has definitely come a ways since we first got together with emotions, because when we first got together, there was just no recognition for it at all. At least he can recognize the faults now, and he sees how it's affecting me. So comments are so fast.
What?
Mama.
It was no longer just about their relationship. Now, it was about what they were putting on their daughter's shoulders and the consequences that may come with it, dragging the kids into it. Throughout the live, Stephanie kept saying that their relationship wasn't as bad as people thought. She insisted they were just like any other couple trying to work through their problems. She wanted viewers to believe that despite all the chaos and crying, they were simply facing challenges that many families go through. But then she also admitted that they were working through their problems publicly, in front of their kids, on TikTok, with strangers watching. And that's where the contradiction started to show. Most couples don't stream their emotional breakdowns and arguments for thousands of people while their children are present in the background. Most couples don't bring their kids into a therapy session, but Stephanie and Drew did. She tried to defend Drew too. She said he tends to shut down emotionally during arguments, that he stops talking, treats to himself, and that makes it hard to fix anything. But she said he was improving. On that live, she claimed Drew was starting to see how his silence affects her and the kids. She gave him a little credit, saying he was making small steps and showing more awareness than when they first got together. Still, for many watching, the whole interaction felt too smooth, too planned, like they were performing, not processing. It was jarring. Hours earlier, Stephanie was in tears, saying she was done, that she had nothing left. Then suddenly, she was back beside Drew, calmly going over the relationship like it was a daytime talk show. The shift was too quick to feel natural. Instead of healing, it felt rehearsed. Instead of progress, it felt like damage control. The emotions were real, sure, but the way they were presented, that looked like content. The timing, the pacing, the setup, it all seemed more designed for public sympathy than private resolution. The Deson custody drama. Then the topic came back to Deson. Stephanie said that if she were to walk away from Drew, he wouldn't fight to keep Deson. Drew himself admitted that he wouldn't be able to do it without her. That if she left, the fight for Deson would be over. And in that moment, something clicked for a lot of viewers. Stephanie was the one holding the gate shut. She was the barrier standing between Desiree and her son. She claims it's all out of love, that she stays in the picture because she fears what might happen if she is not around to guide Drew or make sure Deson is okay. But at the same time, she talks openly about how drained she is, how unsupported, how she is stretched thin every single day. So the question becomes, if she is truly running on empty, if the relationship is too heavy to carry, why not let Deson return to his biological mother? Why hold on to a child when the home around him is breaking down? If Stephanie truly believes she's doing what's best, then why does it seem like Deson is being kept in the middle of a power struggle instead of being given stability and peace? The contradiction is too loud, and it's getting harder to ignore. Drew's excuses. Then Drew gave us a glimpse into why he won't get a job. He said outright that he doesn't like being told what to do. He doesn't enjoy customer service work. And more than anything, he can't stand dealing with people who have bad attitudes. According to him, those are the main reasons he's not working right now. So let's call it what it is. Drew doesn't want to work. He's not out here looking for jobs, not even considering part-time work or something remote. He simply wants to stay home. And the way he explains it makes it sound like it's not about being unable to work. It's about not wanting to. Stephanie, meanwhile, has tried to make sense of it. She even brought up Drew's autism, trying to show empathy and offer an explanation for some of his. She said she tries to be understanding, that she knows certain environments may be overstimulating or emotionally hard for him. But here's the problem. While Stephanie is trying to be patient and supportive, she's also crumbling. She's exhausted, overwhelmed, and falling apart trying to keep everything going. The household responsibilities, the emotional labor, the parenting, all of it is falling on her shoulders while Drew chooses not to step up. And the kids? They're stuck right in the middle of it. Living in instability, watching their parents argue on live streams, and witnessing an environment where one parent is overworked and the other refuses to engage. So what's the cost of Drew avoiding the workforce? A mother at her breaking point, children growing up in chaos, and a household teetering on collapse while Drew stays comfortably on the sidelines. Final thoughts. Is this real or rage bait? Stephanie has said before that she would never leave Drew. And yet, here she was, crying, raging, then smiling next to him, all in 24 hours. So is this real? Or is it rage bait? We're leaning toward the latter, especially since they both keep mentioning needing help, being misunderstood, not having money and wanting people to support their journey. If this was a true crisis, Stephanie wouldn't be going live about it multiple times a day. But no matter what the truth is, one thing is crystal clear. The kids are being hurt in this. Whether this is real or staged, it's wrong to make children witness their parents fight like, especially when they're using those same kids to justify staying together. Let me know in the comments if you think this was real or staged. And don't forget to like and subscribe to stay updated on the next chapter of this never-ending drama. This story is still unfolding.